Finally, tonight on BBC One, some World Cup news. England could be out of the competition after a goalless draw in Mexico against Morocco. The lack of goals was only part of the sad English story, as Barry Davies now reports.
The story of England's performance is about 5 minutes of abject misery and unlooked-for stupidity totally out of character, and 45 minutes of determination for which the England team deserves great credit. With 37 minutes gone, the England captain, Brian Robson, battled for the ball past two players. He fell on his suspect's shoulder and had to leave the field with his arm bound to his chest. As if that was not problem enough, within seconds, Ray Wilkins, who had earlier been booked for a fairly innocuous tackle, chose to throw the ball at the referee. Whether it was in temper, only he can tell us, but the referee from Paraguay adjudged that it was, and with one yellow card already against him, Ray Wilkins found himself being shown the red, and he was off. But in the second half, England fought in a style of old. Why it took such adversity for them to produce their best form is a question one has to ask. But they battled all they could in the second half, gained the draw, but that leaves their World Cup chance in the lap of the gods. A position which the England manager, Bobby Robson, tried to put a brave face on when he talked to Kevin Cosgrove.
Bobby, your reaction to that game?
Well, naturally it went horribly wrong for us in the first half when Wilkins got sent off and Robson dislocated his shoulder. We down to 10 men at half-time in tremendous heat. They had played quite well in the first half and given us problems, although there was still quite a lot of the match to play, and I felt we could be better in the second half. It was just a little problem that needed to be sorted out, and it was going to be okay. But we had to chase the ball, and in the tremendous heat, I mean, players have given everything. I mean, you've just got to say players have tried very hard in the second half, manfully, and we were perhaps unlucky not to perhaps win the match and sneak the match in the second half.
The shoulder dislocation to Brian, what does that mean now?
Well, I'm told it's back in and that he could play again. It's sore for a couple of days, naturally. I would have to discuss the situation with the captain. But my feeling now is I would have to really think about it really seriously as to whether I would consider, you know, putting him up for selection again.
And Ray Wilkins is sending off?
Well, he obviously will miss the next match. I think it was a bit unlucky. I don't think it was you know, a nasty or an unpleasant situation. He was, I think, cross at the decision and simply threw the ball away. I believe it actually rolled up and hit the referee on the leg, and because of that, he sent him off.
Now, the result still obviously gives you a chance.
No, yeah, I mean, no point in talking about despair because it's not quite in that situation. We've got a lot to do. I mean, we have to be realistic about that. I mean, I'm fully aware that we've got 1 point and played 2 matches. And I'm cursing everything that's gone wrong for us, you know, because 2 years of work has sort of disappeared, but we're still very much in contention. We have to beat the Poles. If we do that, we've got 3 points, and I think there'll be a good chance of winning. Now, you're not out until you're out. Now, if I surrender and throw up the white flag, everybody does, and I'm not going to do that. My job is to lift the players, compliment them on the second half, because we really did very well in the second half, and to see if we can just liven up their spirits, give a better performance, have a bit of luck. We have had nothing in the last 2 matches in terms of luck, nothing. And I mean, I saw Brazil today against Algeria, you know, played poorly, win 1-0. We need a bit of that. And it helps. It's you can't base your football and your hopes on that. Obviously, you've got to make it yourselves.
What did you say to Brian Robson at half-time?
I didn't, because as far as I was concerned, he was out of the match, and there was no time for me to spend any of my time with Brian Robson at half-time. He was in a bit of sedation anyway, and he was in the corner, tucked away with the doctor and Fred Street, the physiotherapist. He was out of the match. I had to concentrate on the 10 that were, plus any one of the players that might be coming on. That was my work at half-time.
Now, in the next few days leading up to the Polish game, what will you be trying to do to lift the spirits within the squad?
Well, they've got to do it themselves, you know. I mean, they're all adult, and they're all 3 times 7, you know, so it's all about self-motivation as well. I will do all that I can. You know, we will lift morale, we will lift spirits. You know, we'll try and put a smile on our face. We've got 5 days to think about it. Well, 4 clear days, and we'll play on the 5th day. So there's a little bit of training to do and a little bit of work to do. I've now got to change the team, obviously, with Robson Wilkins. I've got to consider other possibilities because it's a match we've got to win. I don't need to make those decisions right now. We're talking about half an hour after a game. You're doing well to get me here, okay? So I've got a lot of time to think about it because I've got to be quite clear-cut and quite, bright in my mind as to what I've got to do to win this match for England.
Bobby, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Well, that was an extra report on the World Cup. Now, the weather. And it'll be a similar day to today in many respects, with central and eastern areas of England and Scotland beginning on a cloudy note with a little rain in places. Most of the rain will soon die out to leave a dry and brighter afternoon with some sunshine, but it will again feel very chilly in the north-westerly wind. Wales, Northern Ireland and western areas of England and Scotland will have sunny intervals and a good deal of dry weather, although there'll be a little drizzle in Western Isles at first. It'll be warmer there with lighter winds, the temperatures reaching 16 or 17 Celsius, the low 60s Fahrenheit. And that's our look at the weather. And with that forecast, we come to a close on BBC One. And all that remains is to thank you for your company. And from all of us here at Television Centre, this is Mark Waddington wishing you a very pleasant weekend and do sleep well. Good night to you.